Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that nothing in your life has changed. The same small worries, the same bank balance, the same silent frustration that whispers inside your mind, why do some people become wealthy while others stay stuck forever? You work hard, you try, you dream. Yet somehow the distance between where you are and where you want to be never seems to shrink. Now imagine two people standing in the exact same city. They breathe the same air, they see the same opportunities, they even start with the same amount of money. 10 years later, one of them builds freedom, influence, and wealth. The other is still struggling to survive. What changed? Not the city, not luck, not intelligence. The difference was invisible. It was the way they thought. Because before wealth appears in your bank account, it appears in your mind. Tonight, we are going to explore the hidden mental patterns that separate those who stay trapped from those who quietly build extraordinary wealth. And the first shift begins with a simple but uncomfortable truth. Most people are not poor because of money. They are poor because of scarcity thinking. Chapter 1. The Invisible Cage. Picture a young man standing inside a grocery store. He walks past fresh fruit, healthy food, books, tools, things that could improve his life. But every time he looks at a price tag, the same thought appears. That's too expensive. So he chooses the cheapest option, not the best, just the cheapest. He does this every day. Every decision is filtered through a quiet fear, what if I run out of money? At first, this sounds responsible, careful, even wise. But something subtle begins to happen. His world slowly shrinks. He stops investing in learning. He avoids risks. He rejects opportunities before even exploring them. Meanwhile, across the city, another person walks into the same store. She also sees the price tags, but her mind asks a different question. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" she asks, "How can I create the ability to afford this?" That single shift changes everything. One mindset protects money, the other creates it. Scarcity thinking builds invisible cages. It convinces you that resources are limited, that success is rare, that someone else's win means your loss. But the truth about wealth is completely different. Wealth is not a fixed pie. It expands. Every new invention, every service, every solution creates new value in the world. The internet alone created millions of opportunities that did not exist 20 years ago. Yet people with scarcity thinking never see them. Their mind is too busy protecting what little they have, and protection rarely leads to expansion. This is why two people can live in the same environment, yet experience completely different realities, because opportunity is often invisible to the mind that fears loss. Chapter 2. The Identity Shift. Now imagine a small boy growing up in a modest home. His parents constantly repeat phrases like, "Money is hard to get," "Rich people are greedy," "People like us never become wealthy." These sentences may sound harmless, but to a child's mind they become identity. Years later, that boy becomes an adult. He may work hard, he may dream of success, he may even start a business, but deep inside another voice whispers, "This isn't for people like you." And without realizing it, he sabotages himself. He underprices his work. He hesitates when opportunity appears. He stays in environments that feel familiar, even if they keep him small. Now imagine another child. In her home, money is not feared. It is discussed, studied, respected. Her parents say things like, "Money follows value. Problems are opportunities. Learn how the world works." This child grows up with a completely different internal map.
When she sees a problem, she doesn't complain. She searches for solutions. When she sees successful people, she studies them. And slowly, almost quietly, her mind begins to align with wealth. Because wealth is not just numbers, it is identity. If you see yourself as someone who struggles, your actions will match that belief. But when you begin to see yourself as someone capable of creating value, building systems, and solving problems, your decisions change, your risks change, your relationships change, and over time, your financial reality begins to change as well. Not because of luck, but because the mind that once feared opportunity has finally learned how to recognize it. And this is only the beginning, because the next shift is even more powerful. It reveals why some people chase money endlessly yet never feel rich, while others quietly build wealth that grows for decades. And it all begins with one simple realization. Money does not follow effort. It follows value.
Let me ask you something. If I handed you $1 million today, would it actually make you wealthy? Or would it slowly disappear until your life looks exactly the same again? This question is uncomfortable, but it reveals a powerful truth. Money alone does not create wealth. Your mindset about money does. Because history has shown something fascinating. Many lottery winners become broke again within a few years, yet some entrepreneurs lose everything and rebuild their fortune again and again. Why? Because money is not the real asset. The mind that creates money is the real asset. And that leads us to the third shift. Chapter 3, the value equation. Imagine two workers. The first one spends 10 hours a day working extremely hard. He follows instructions, completes tasks, and at the end of the month, he receives a fixed salary. Now imagine another person. She works maybe 5 hours a day, sometimes less, yet she earns 10 times more. From the outside, this looks unfair, but wealth does not measure effort. It measures value. Think about a doctor performing surgery. The operation might take only 2 hours, yet the doctor may earn thousands of dollars. Why? Because those 2 hours required 20 years of learning, skill, and responsibility. The world does not pay for time, it pays for impact. Here's another simple example. A man digging holes with a shovel might work harder than someone operating an excavator. He sweats more, he spends more energy, but the excavator operator produces 10 times the result in less time. The difference is leverage. Wealthy thinkers constantly ask a different question than most people. They don't ask, how hard do I need to work? They ask, how can I create more value with less effort? Sometimes that leverage is knowledge. Sometimes it is technology. Sometimes it is systems or teams. This is why a single app can make millions. A single book can reach millions of readers. A single idea can create enormous value. The world rewards solutions that scale. But here's where many people get stuck. Scarcity thinking focuses on earning money. A wealthy mindset focuses on creating value. When your focus changes, your behavior changes. Instead of chasing small opportunities, you begin asking bigger questions. What problems exist in the world? What frustrations do people face every day? What solutions are missing? Because every major fortune started with one thing, a problem someone decided to solve. The bigger the problem, the bigger the reward.
Chapter 4. The Wealth Thermostat. Now imagine something unusual. Inside your mind, there's an invisible thermostat, just like the thermostat that controls temperature in a house. If the temperature rises too high, the system cools it down. If it drops too low, the heater activates. Your financial life works in a similar way. Each person has a financial comfort zone, a level of income that feels normal. If you suddenly earn far more than that level, something strange can happen. You begin making bad decisions. You overspend. You take unnecessary risks. You sabotage opportunities. Not because you are foolish, but because your internal thermostat tries to return you to what feels familiar. For example, imagine someone who has always lived paycheck to paycheck. Suddenly, they receive a large amount of money. Instead of building assets, they upgrade their lifestyle. New phone, better car, expensive habits. Within a few years, the money disappears. The thermostat quietly pulls them back to their old level. Now imagine someone whose internal standard is higher. They believe wealth is normal. They see investing as natural. They understand delayed gratification. When money enters their life, they multiply it instead of consuming it. The difference is not intelligence, it is conditioning. Your beliefs about money form an invisible ceiling. If your mindset believes you deserve $1,000 a month, earning $10,000 will feel uncomfortable. But when your internal thermostat rises, everything changes. You start seeing opportunities that once felt impossible. You attract different conversations. You enter different environments. Your decisions become more strategic because your mind finally accepts a new standard of possibility. And yet, even this is not the deepest secret. There is something even more powerful that separates those who struggle forever from those who quietly build extraordinary wealth. Something most people completely misunderstand about money. And once you see it, you will never look at wealth the same way again. But that realization comes in the final part. So here is the question that changes everything. If wealth is not effort, if wealth is not luck, if wealth is not even money itself, then what is the real secret behind people who quietly build extraordinary fortunes? The answer is simple, but once you understand it, you will never look at money the same way again. Wealth is not built by earning. Wealth is built by ownership. Chapter 5. The Ownership Shift. Most people spend their entire lives doing one thing. They trade time for money, hour after hour, day after day, year after year. It feels safe, predictable, familiar. But there is a hidden trap. Time is limited. You only have 24 hours a day, which means your income will always have a ceiling. Now look at how wealthy people think. They don't focus only on earning. They focus on owning. Owning businesses, owning ideas, owning systems, owning assets that continue working even when they are not. Imagine planting a tree. The first year, nothing impressive happens, just soil, water, patience. The second year, still slow. But then something changes. Roots grow deeper, the tree strengthens, and suddenly every season begins producing fruit. Ownership works exactly the same way. At first, it feels slow, a small investment, a small project, a small system. But over time, those seeds grow. A business that generates income, a digital product that sells repeatedly, an investment that compounds quietly. This is why wealth often looks invisible at the beginning. While others spend money, builders plant trees, and one day those trees become forests. Chapter 6. The Power of Compounding. Now imagine a small snowball at the top of a mountain. At the beginning, it looks insignificant, just a handful of snow. But once it starts rolling, something magical happens. The snowball grows. Every rotation adds more snow. It becomes larger, heavier, faster, until eventually it becomes unstoppable. This is the power of compounding, and it does not apply only to money. It applies to knowledge, habits, skills, relationships. Read 10 pages a day.
In 1 year, you have read over 3,000 pages. Learn one valuable skill. Practice it daily. In 3 years, you may become better than 95% of people. Invest small amounts consistently. Give them time.
And suddenly, the numbers begin multiplying. Wealth rarely arrives as an explosion. It arrives as a quiet accumulation. Tiny decisions, repeated daily, for years. Most people quit before the snowball grows. They want immediate results, immediate proof, immediate success. But the millionaire mindset understands something deeper. The greatest rewards in life come from long-term thinking, from patience, from discipline, from believing in growth even when results are still invisible. A 3-step action plan. Start within 24 hours. Now here's the most important question. How do you begin building this mindset today? Not someday, not next year. Today. Here are 3 powerful steps you can start within the next 24 hours. Step 1. Change the question. Stop asking, "Can I afford this?" Start asking, "How can I create the value to afford this?" This simple shift rewires your brain. It moves you from limitation to creation, from fear to possibility. Step 2. Invest in your mind. For the next 30 days, commit to learning something valuable every day. Books, skills, business knowledge, financial education. Your mind is the engine of your wealth. Feed it, train it, expand it. Because once your thinking changes, your income eventually follows. Step 3. Plant one financial seed. Do something small that builds ownership. Start a small project. Create a digital product. Learn a skill that produces income. Invest a small amount consistently. Do not wait for perfection. Just plant the seed. Because every forest once started with a single tree. The world is full of people waiting for luck, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for someone to give them permission to succeed. But those who build extraordinary lives understand something different. They build quietly. They think differently. They plant seeds today, knowing the forest will appear tomorrow. And one day, people will look at their success and say, "You were lucky." But you will know the truth. It was never luck. It was mindset. It was patience. It was the decision you made long ago to stop thinking like everyone else and start thinking like a builder. If this idea challenged the way you think about money, let me ask you something. What is one belief about money that you realized might be limiting your life? Write it in the comments. And if you want more deep ideas about wealth, mindset, and the psychology of success, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because the next insight might be the one that changes everything.